Hi there. It's been a while since I even said anything, out loud. And in a bit, I just kind of wanted to touch base with how how I've been reviewing and thinking about what I wanted to do, um, with this channel, Super Station OX, the fighter streamer channel or the reupload channel, whichever one you would call it. Um, this is gonna be a strict as all hell. So if you care, if anime for you, this is not an anime video, so just take that with a grain of salt too, or not a grain of salt, just more or less this is a video for you. But if you want to stick around and know how the guy is feeling about behind the channel, I would very much appreciate that. So for the past while, I've been thinking about what I've been wanting to do on this channel. It's it sort of dawned on me that this really could be a huge endeavor based on the time I put in and the work I put out. And it got to me that this really could be this real behemoth of a channel that if I work hard enough, I could be up there with the big dogs like Alvin Earthworm or SMG4 or even Glitch Productions. But I think when it hit me that 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 is not going to happen at the pace I'm going or at the pace I was thinking I was going to go. Keep in mind, Fighters Tournament has been an idea ever since I believe 2015, and the original video, it's very scuffed. It's still on the channel if you want to go find it, but it was an idea that little around what 11, 12-year-old me had about a series that combined Mario and Sonic that really wasn't anything new. So, I didn't expect it to be. I didn't know what I wanted to really be. I just knew I wanted to be a Mario and Sonic crossover series. To be honest, now looking back at it, I think this could be my first sign of a downfall, because I just kind of went with my gut and all I had. I didn't have a specific plan. I didn't have any real thought about it at all until like around fourth grade at the time, where me and a friend just kept talking about how we would just keep on conceptualizing ideas and always be this big giant thing. And I think when I got older, I realized that this probably sounds like a pipe dream too good to be true, and something like this being almost like impossible for a kid to do. So as I got older, I just thought about, if I really wanted to do something like this, what would I need to do? And Fire Tournament took a while to even concept, but for what I had at the time, I started releasing episodes pretty randomly. From episode 1 to 14, I thought it was more or less, or 1 to 13 at least, I was more or less thinking about, like, what I could do to, like, show that I really want to make this like this next big thing. But I already had an issue, some downfall due to some unappealing things, some really weird looking things like Mario's eyes, to that Naruto recolor that I do very much stick on a piece of nostalgia of, but it just it dawned on me like back in 2020 that I possibly just can't do this. And it's never going to happen, because who cares about it in the meantime, right? Who cares about this stuff? Like, why should you care about the stuff I make? It's a very real message that I think about, like, when I even do fighters today. It's why do people care? Like, why should you care amongst all the other animated channels of Mario and Sonic or whatever? So that came 2020, and 2021 hit, and the channel was preferably dead. There was dead air from 2020 to 2022 because I just felt like there's nothing for me to really do with Fighters Tournament anymore. I had no real motive to keep going, and it just felt like I had just this pipe dream that I just couldn't achieve because no one really cares about the work I make or the quote unquote work I make as a younger kid. But 2022 hit, and the moment I found out I can rearrange textures and try to sculpt different things, everything came back in a circle. And this is where I want to get into the crux of this video, I guess. It's a way to tell myself as a future message, this is a craft that I love doing, even if I'm very small. Like, I'm not monetizing fighters because, well, of course I can't. But as a project I've been wanting to do since 2013, I felt that this is probably the best place it's ever been in. And even as a no-name YouTuber, you can say, I'm still so blessed to even have an audience who can come back and watch the content that I put out, even if it ends up looking a little scuffed when I get better in hindsight. I just never think about it that way because I'm always stuck like, you know, if I don't really, I just make the content and see how it does, and then if I just don't think about it as much anymore. And it felt kind of damaging because this was in fact something I wanted to do for such a long time, you know. But that aside, to go back to current day fighters, this has been a place I've wanted to be in. I've wished to be in for so long time, having a way to fully see the story out, not having to potentially kill myself to animate like all this stuff. And even if I have 125 subscribers, the fact that they'll most likely be willing to sit down and watch the content that I put out, or even hell, if you watching this are new and you would want to stick around and see the content, I greatly appreciate that. Considering that, of course, this is a field I'm interested to do and to see through. I'm not as naive to where I would say, you know, this is gonna be the next behemoth or next big animated series, because that's stupid. But it's not bad to be like, I want to see what I can do with this channel and see how I can grow. You know, so my baseline is, for anyone who is watching this or hearing this or even attempting to even look at my past channel and look at my content, I very much appreciate it, and I'm just happy to at least have an audience, or trying to build an audience who cares about the stuff I produce. It just feels surreal because I never thought I would even see myself making fighters, even to this day. You may not sound big because I'm nowhere near a big channel, but even like the minimalistic of channels that still want to put out content like this, the fact that people still willing to watch shorts or videos, whatever, or even consume onward, it makes me really satisfied to make sure that people out there still care. And, you know, that's most of what I want to talk about. It's not much else, but if I had to have another topic I want to go into, it's been, you know, the person, not the character, not the channel caricature, me. If I had to say something about me, it's more or less about, I felt very insecure, if I want to be honest, for a bit, about how I perceive this work. What should I do to insinuate that this is a genuine passion, or this is, how do I show the world that I am worthy of being in notoriety of all these other channels? Nowadays, I can tell you, I really can't answer that, because it just depends on YouTube at that point, you know? I mean, not getting in trouble in any controversies online, you know? I guess if I had to say one thing, it would be like the perception of the narrative. But I don't know. People will watch fighters tournament for the narrative, probably for the fights. Who knows? I don't know because we haven't even got there yet. But to just be like me for a second, I would say that I'm really a picky person when it comes to how I perceive fighters, or I'm very, like, what's the word for it? It's more or less, I'm very conflicted on how others will even consume it because, I'm not saying that I don't want to not consume positive reviews or critiques, negative reviews and critiques. I'll be there to watch it, even if I made the thing, because I feel like people actually putting it out there and seeing this story for what it could be and what it could be better on still works for me. And I think that's where I want to say is that it's just, I really want fighters to succeed, and a part of that really does rely on me. But it's the journey to get there that I'm scared of. Because, of course, anything can happen, But the only way to really do that is to just live life and find out what happens with it. Which is why I have specifically taken a break on most animations. Not because I'm lazy and don't want to do them. It's more or less because burnout. I've caught up on a lot of material and videos talking about how a lot of people who, or specifically with Weekly Shonen Jump, I've looked into several videos by several channels that, or specifically not a lot of channels, but I took in one video to especially heart, considering how I wanted to be as a writer for Five Star Onward. I say the video was the brutality of the manga industry by Azurate the HS. Great video. Go watch that. Subscribe to the dude if you can't, or if you can. Great video. But hearing how mangaka damage themselves for health purposes, just for, not for health purposes, but just to specifically get their story out, it reminded me of how I felt when I was writing the Forest arc in Onward. Even if I was getting excited to see this story through, it felt like I was choking myself to get this stuff out every 7 to 9 days. And if I didn't, I would just lay off on it, saying that, I'll blame myself, saying, oh my god, I gotta take a break, and I gotta do all this, I gotta really, hone in my writing skills, gotta look into what I'm doing right and wrong. But at the end of the day, what was not getting done was the arc. And I still continued the arc, and even when I finished it, by the time chapter 26 rolled around, I was just really burnt out of it, and it just hit me that I needed to just take a big break from it. And then 28 came out, or chapter 27 came out, and that took a while because this is a brand new arc and a lot of ideas are going to be explored in this one. And that's where it hit me, right? It was finally that time with me that maybe it's more important to, actually focus on you rather than the story, right? Because me, the person behind the channel, has to make sure my life goes well. But that doesn't mean at the same time that I can't stop doing what I like doing, because I like doing fighters to this day. I still do. I just don't make a lot very much because I want to focus on more about how I'm feeling and how I'm checking in on myself. And I feel like I'm doing an okay job at that. I can notice how I'm feeling about doing fighters, or how I'm feeling I'm playing games, or even getting my work for future enlistment done. Well, it's been a good time, or a weirder time than most, because before, I had school to attend to. So, I always thought, okay, I'll do that, I'll do fighters after that. But now I'm out of high school, trying to find out what I have to do for a job. And now, thankfully, I found that. But, with that job in mind, I may have to be away for fighters for a bit. But it's nothing really too different from the chapter gap. And unfortunately, that may just have to be how fighters is for a while, because I feel like it's better to not let loose on a schedule, or not give yourself a schedule that you obviously think you can't fulfill. I say this for me because if I remember, I told myself, okay, if I finish a chapter before the 7-day deadline, I can give myself a break in that same week before the next week. But that would never work, because I would still be wanting to work even in the midst of that break. And it just couldn't, and it's definitely not keeping up to like the next arc we're doing here. So I then decided at that point, along with everything else coming up in the future regarding my life, it is in fact going to be more or less now centered around, I'm going to release Fighters Tournament Onward and release animations at any point when I want to. When I come back to doing it, I'll do it. Now, am I leaving it immediately after this video? No. But for the future, chapters will not be weekly. They will just be posted at random. I know how people really don't like that, but I feel like for me, it's better for my health that way. And that applies to my YouTube too. I'll probably re-upload stuff if I can. Admittedly, when the channel is going a bit dry, and new animations and new chapters will be rolling out at that point, sooner or later. But it's all relying on me, because like I said, I want to focus on myself, and I want to make sure I'm in check to make this stuff so it gets the work and quality it needs, while making sure my life is perfectly in tune going forward in these really, really odd times. But that's about all. If I had to say anything, it would be, once again, thank you all for sticking to me on this journey, even if I'm a very small creator. It's just me wanting to show you appreciation, even if it's something really, really minuscule. The fact that you're still able to watch this and even engage with my content and my little silly story about the red boy with Mario and Sonic is still genuinely a fantastic view for me. So thank you so much. And regarding everything else on YouTube and the animations and chapters, they will still appear, although of course their time periods will be fairly separated and fairly lengthy, due to, like I said, focusing on my life, make sure everything else goes well in there. And quality, I will hope, will be as high as I can make it. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you for listening. It is around midnight where I am right now, so I'm going to probably play a video game or sleep. I don't know, but that's my thing. I'm sorry. Just thank you for watching. If Onward in the description, and watch the channel, I guess. Okay, I'm sorry. Take care, everyone. Take care of yourselves.